Hi Canada Magazine, our last issue, we're focused on villains. And I've pulled out a story from 8 years ago. This story was pitched to me in 2017 and it scared the living shit out of me. Contrary to popular belief, the cannabis industry is full of villains and people do get murdered in our sector, especially when it comes to big money, big corporate cannabis. And you know what? 2017 whistleblower stories like this would have got me or some of my team hurt. I'm sad to say that the person who actually submitted this story, they did it with the intent of helping out the medical Canadian cannabis sector and the dispensary market and the entrepreneurship we were seeing around that time. But the Trudeau government was coming down super, super hard with raids and enforcement and just hammering at them in a multitude of different ways. So this story was pitched to me, and it was basically these are the villains in our sector, and it was people who, along with Trudeau, uh, um, who were political insiders who were only involved so that they could become filthy rich off this new sector. And now, 8 years later, I'm looking over the list. I pull this story out, approaching our end. High Canada Magazine, I pull this story out, and there are so many names. And this pitch is incredibly accurate. And the people who are on this list that have been, that allegedly are these political insiders that conspired with our prime minister to eradicate the independent craft market, to over-regulate this amazing, amazing sector that started off so strong and wonderful and amazing. And, now it's one of the most heavily regulated and monitored and taxed sectors of all of them. And this list of people have made so much money 8 years later. And I'm looking at this list and I'm shaking my head, and I see that the motive wasn't to expose these people as being supervillains, but now 8 years later, I see that this story was indeed exposing these people as supervillains. These are people who manipulated the market, who manipulated positions of power, who forced mom and pop places out of business, who enforced unjust laws so that they could put their own thing in place and make shitloads of money and make themselves filthy, filthy fucking rich. And this list, looking at it 8 years later, it proves it. These people are villains and they made themselves filthy rich off our cannabis sector.